Hey guys, it's me again, Orc What is? Where we last left off? Let's see. Checking. Belle and his Belle, Gwen, Gwendolyn, and Guinevere, and all of them made their way to the city where the four kings reside. There's also, after they arrived there, Belle and was then sent on a mission by Gwen to assist the kingdom with their dragon problem, seeing as it was the thing that got him into this whole mess. So he's like, so in Gwen's mind, he's like, all right, if he wants to help him that bad, send them forward, because Gwen thought he could, like, if Gwen was in his shoes, he would have simply just left. Gwen's love for humanity it varies. He sees that they can be a great thing if they're under direct control of the gods. Because if he was the god or the ruler or the king of the place where they reside, dragons wouldn't be a problem. But he doesn't yet understand that having the gods directly rule humanity really isn't that great of a thing, because humanity, well, reasons. Like how, if you all know 40k and such, a god really can't be on the same level and struggles as a human. Like in 40k, how I think it was a thing about Horus and them thinking that the Emperor would hand over, or, well, let the Primarchs rule over the humans. And I'm pretty sure it was Malktor who asked the idea, well, why would you, or how could you, if you do not know the struggles of the common man? In the sense that they don't entirely know what it means to be a puny human. They know what it is to be a Primarch, but not a small human. Some may say, well, think about this. They all grew up individually. Yes. So if you put an Angron in charge of what exactly? Like, how he is, he really couldn't be put in charge of anything. I guess put him in charge of training. Military, I guess, would be the best way to put him. But then what else? Like, they all had roles. Like, I believe Horus was supposed to be a diplomat. Lehman Russ was supposed to be his executioner. Sanguinius was supposed to be, if I remember correctly, like, he's like the one closest, that is closest to the Emperor. So my guess is that his job would be replace the Emperor if he was to ever die. Horus is the diplomat. Gilliman's the administrator. Vulcan's the human side of the Primarchs, which I would also guess he would probably be the one put on defense, aside from like Lorgar and such. Perturabo was supposed to be the one to deal with difficult tasks and such, which is why he's the Lord of Iron and Indomitable, which I kind of agree. Fulgrim, I believe, is supposed to be, I don't know exactly Fulgrim. I think he's supposed to also be a nice guy, like a social worker, I don't know. Jagatai Khan is a wild card, which is, I believe, is supposed to be the thing, is that nobody knows exactly what he's gonna do. He's supposed to be unknowable and such. Alfarius is the spy master, would be my guess, like intelligence. And it goes on and on and on, but I digress. Where was I going with this again? Oh yes. Gwen may not understand how to rule over humans. He could rule over them, in theory. And if I remember correctly, in Dark Souls, there was actually a rebellion against Gwen called the Occult. With the occult weaponry and such that was meant to damage or even be able to harm the gods. But I digress. We'll cut back to Bell as he's moving to his next location after felling the Hydra. As he moves on to his next thing, which is the two dragons, which is a very small dragon and a very big dragon. This very small dragon is like a drake, like an earth dragon where it's just on all fours, but its skin is as tough as a rock, like as tougher than stone, abnormally tough stone. And the big one, well, that's a giant drake that breathes lightning. Bell having to be quick on his feet. It's like the thing with Ornstein and Smo. Pretty much the rock dragon, or the rock drake, is charging at him. And it has like a rhino head in a way, and it comes charging in again and again, ramming into the mountain, and Bell having to dodge it split second. Him trying to throw lightning spears at the drake in the sky, well, the wyvern in the sky. As it swoops down and actually snaps, like claws into him with some of its talons. As it like digs its deep, actually causing him to bleed. As then the rock drake comes smashing into his stomach, pretty much carrying him along, and that horn isn't piercing into his skin yet. As he's bashed through several rocks and into a wall, as he manages to gather his footing and throw this quite big, I'd say it's about his size. Like about his size. So it is small for a dragon, but it's still a dragon, so yeah. As he manages to regain his footing and force the drake back after he's like grabs into it and tosses it using all his strength, not all of it but a lot of it, tossing it away as it crashes through several trees. These things are in mountainous or wooded area. The other one comes swooping in trying to grab onto him again. He takes his cross spear and charges up a lightning strike, zapping it, causing it to stun as it's falling to the ground. Like, he rushes forward and jumps with a lot of the strength in his leg, impaling the beast on his cross spear, then throwing it down to the ground as he lands, having a very loud thwack on the ground. As the drake comes rushing in, seeing that it's pretty much killed his friend, he comes rushing in with everything, smashing its head into the rock over and over and over. As he's finally finished playing, he gets ready in one final stance as the thing comes charging at him. He channels lightning into the very tip of the blade as he rushes forward, meeting this thing as it goes straight through the stone, straight through its face, all the way out to the back, cutting the thing in half. As then he comes walking out. Again, he has a bit of blood on him, but it is otherwise pretty good. It like got into him a little bit. And the wyvern even broke some of its talons on him. He comes walking out, and the lion and the Rosa warriors are still there, along with the others. This time he just comes carrying out the two beasts as he tosses it in front of the face of the I believe the thing's called Anerlondo, right? Anerlondo, or is it Londor or Londo? Londor. Saying that the two beasts are dead, as they report to the locals and such on the remains of the dragons, and order them to have them sent back to the capital as proof of the killings. As Bo and his troops move on again. Give me a second. Can't remember if his father, and it takes a few, and they get through the list quickly for their standards, because they have to hunt the dragons and find where they go. And since dragons tend to be migratory in that they don't stay in a place for long periods of time, well, it takes Belle a while to find the dragon. And to get there takes at least a week of traveling. As they continuously travel through the lands. As when one day, as Belle and his warriors are traveling, and see a caravan that's being robbed by a couple of bandits. The soldiers advise that the bandits are of no consequence and that they've been making trouble around here. They haven't done anything too outrageous. The Ferosa Knight saying that that's disgrace. Well, I think, how many were there? Can't remember how many I gave them of the Ferosa Knights. I'd say it'd probably be a group around 30 that follow him. And this group of bandits has around 40. With Belle saying that it would be dishonorable to leave them to fend for themselves and let them be at the mercy of these bandits. As he comes marching out of the woods, as a bandit leader is like, well, what the hell? As they look at him, he is towering over every single one of them. Are you some kind of giant? He's like, no. Leave now, and you shall not be harmed. He's like, big talk from one dude versus 40 of us? As the Ferosa Lion Knights come marching out, and it's like, oh shit, boss, those are Ferosa warriors. Ferosa, the guys haven't been around here for ages. He's like, leave now, or perish. As he starts writing a stance like he's gonna lunge forward. With these, like, get 'em, lads! They're wearing, like, the brigand armor from, Dark Souls and such. You know, the gold and such? Them rushing in, slashing with their... using their axes and such. And these ones are the... and they have the spider shields and all that. As they come rushing in, Belle slices through, pretty much crushes the ones that charge at him. Well, actually, scratch that. The Ferosa Knights want to prove that they do actually have purpose. And they are kind of irritated that Belle won't let them fight some of the dragons. If I have said they fight them, forgive me. That he won't let them have any combat against the dragons. Because it's like a thing for the Ferosa Knights that they have had to deal with dragons pretty much single-handedly. That if they can't fend them off or scare them off, they usually get burned. The villages and tribes. And that the kings of Anor Londo don't care about the lonely tribesmen. So Belle, as they ask him to stand back, they immediately start crushing through these bandits and brigands, crushing them, their puny attack, like the great warriors they are, chopping through many of them and cutting several in half, letting out their roars, thus they're named the Lion Knights. As the merchants and caravanners thank them severely, Belle comes walking up. Where are you heading? They're like, we're heading to the city over that way. As Belle asks soldiers, or Anor Londo, is the next location in that direction? They're like, it seems so, yes. It would take about a week to get there. It's like, very well. For the time being, we shall travel with you. The guards of the merchants like, thank you. The guards didn't even do anything. They literally turned us over the second they saw it. Like, well, do not fear, for we shall never do that to you. It would stain our honor. He's like, thank you. As the gold and such, the gold plating and such on these brigands are taken. I believe it's gold at least. Like the more gold-like appendages, gold-like bracelets and such, how they have it, they take those, and the necklaces and etc, etc. They take it and add it to like a little thing. Belle's saying it's for the Ferosa Knights, saying that it's thanks for them tagging along and for defeating the bandits that were robbing the caravan. They say it was nothing, my lord, Lord Faram. It's like, it is something. Most would not blink an eye to watch these people get hurt if it means they were not inconvenienced. As he looks back at the others, the soldiers are getting unsteady. Now come, the next location awaits. And they go through the week. In that week, or the months that Belle has been gone, like I said before, I believe Gwen's family and such is getting a lot of what's the word? Followers. Guinevere is doing very well, I believe I said, and Gwendolyn's doing well, getting some faithful people, and Gwen has his own church that he more or less drops by every now and then to look at it, and when the people see him, they get down and pray much, much harder. They have their own mages and such in each of them, and he speaks with the four kings about the strifes they made and the trouble they make way into. They all say that the dragons have been a burden on us for centuries. Especially the ones with skin of stone. Our weapons barely break their skin. We've tried everything. Hammers, spears, pickaxes, ballistas, even magic. It is very difficult to break their skin. The only magic that is even effective against them is yours, my lords. Any other magic doesn't really affect them. Don't get us wrong, several warriors have killed them before, but it takes days for one of them to win, and even then, the warrior most of the time dies. Well, I'm sorry to hear that. Well, not sorry to hear that, and he's like, As he then searches for his own warriors, his own silver knights, as he would have them in the canon. Oh, not a canon, but an actual Dark Souls. Trying to find those gifted, in a way, with the ability to use sunlight magic. With Belle and them going forwards. As Belle and his warriors speak with the caravanners, asking them what are they transporting. They're saying, oh, we're just transporting fruits and... Well, is it fruits and such? I guess goods and other things to the market, so that way they can bring money back to their village. Belle asks, is your village very wealthy? We're better than most, but to call us wealthy really isn't a good thing. We're more or less along the lines of average. Barely sinking below average. Just barely below average. It's like, must be difficult for the dragons all around, correct? It's like, indeed it is. Some of us can recall, the oldest among them says, yes, they've been hassling us for years. Been causing trouble since even before the four kings took over. Everyone has trouble with them. Giants, the pyromancers, humanity, name it, they have a problem with them. Pyromancers. Ah, yes. There's a kingdom known as Izalith. Never heard of it, but apparently they themselves have trouble with dragons. Can be a real hassle. And what of the giants? The giants, well, with their size and strength, they typically can fight dragons more easily, but it's the ones that fly that they have trouble with. The giants typically don't like to use ranged weapons, as you can say, as there's nothing that they can really pull or throw even that would actually hit or even do decent enough damage, as they explain. It's like, well, I'm sorry to hear that. May you may your future be bright like the sun. It's like, also, you seem different. Why are you so tall? Is your father a giant? He's like, no, my father isn't giant. As the Frozen Knights say, he is... Do you remember the gods that descended? Yes, he is one of them. As they are all like... And as they say, forgive me, my lord, I did not mean... He's like, please, no. There's no need to grovel. I protect you and help you because it is what is right. So he continues marching forward like with the warriors following him close behind, learning more about their land that they call home. I believe it's called Lordron, or is that the city? I'm not entirely sure. Following them and escorting them all the way to the city. When they have to depart a little bit away from the actual city, knowing that this particular dragon likes to reside in the caves of the mountains, saying it's serpent-like, sort of like a wyrm, like W-Y-R-M, a wyrm, one of the two. As it's said to have, it can coil around a tree, around several trees without and break them just as easily. So he takes notice of this and prepares himself, deciding that the Frozen Knights do wish for combat, so he shall allow them. A worm is pretty much a snake dragon that can spit like liquid fire, I believe. As he and his troops are wandering around, he's like, keep your eyes open. The dragon could be in the trees or even below your very feet. You never truly know. As a Frozen Knight is wandering, it's like, stay close. Remember, the beast could be anywhere. As he's like, as then the thing quickly grabs him and rushes off. Him swinging his axe into the beast, catching it right in the, like, trying to cut into its face. But its face is hard. Like rock. You'll notice a pattern that a lot of these dragons have very tough skin and such, similar to the ancient dragons in the other game. So he's trying to cut into it, but his axe is like kind of dinging off its face. He manages to get a light key strike and actually hits its eye in a way, not damaging it completely, but as it like throws him away, spitting bit of fire, burning him and killing him. As the Frozen Knights and Bell rush over there to see if he's okay, he's pretty much melting. With Bell giving a small prayer, thank you for your courage, warrior. You shall be honored. So he gives order for like 6 of them to take this warrior back out there. As the remaining 23 stand by him as he's like, watch clearly and stand together. As they all get like huddled around in a circle. As he speaks, sort of casting his own version of a spell or a miracle in this case. May the sun guide us and protect us. Let it grant you power in the time when it is dark. May the sun guide your path, great warriors, as they're sort of given a boost in strength, courage, and blah blah blah. And the Frozen Knights, none of them are buckling right now. They're all very calm and collected, but this pushes them even further. As when one of them's looking around, they see it, they ready their axe, toss it, catching this thing like in one of the sides. Not cutting it off, but catching it as it rushes around. Try to confuse him, with Bell looking around constantly, like trying to find it. As he goes around and he starts noticing a pattern and how it's moving, he waits for it, lunges forward, and pins the beast. As he yells for the rest of them to rush in, as they then make butchery of the beast. As then they bring the remnants out, as they toss it in front of the soldiers, they're like, thank you, Lord, for all. It's like, it is no problem. Send this back to the city. We'll send it to the city closest. The Lord there will report your success to the four kings. He's like, understood then. As they all take a moment to pay respects to the fallen warrior, and give him somewhat of a Ferosa custom burial, they will take his weapon and his shield back to the tribe and such. So now he's down to 29. Poor guy. As they again make camp and wait for the next time to move. And that'll be the end of this. I hope y'all, and I'm sorry if the videos are kind of short and such, and I'm sorry if they aren't as well thought out. Like, I just really want to make the videos, but I also want to make the stories good. But thank y'all for watching. I hope y'all have a nice day, nice night, nice life.